we've basically covered what the disorders look like or what the diagnostic criterion is for the desire disorders. Let's look at how you would go about treating something like this. So typically there's some very helpful pharmacological interventions. Testosterone's been used for a long time as an off-label treatment. Androgen therapy has been used in women since the early 1900s. This is clearly not a new problem. And recently the FDA approved a new drug for premenopausal women called flibanserin. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but so it's showing some promise, has some concerning side effects, but it should be interesting to see how this drug kind of makes its way into the culture in the same way Viagra probably has. But if the medicalization of sex isn't your cup of tea, here's some appropriate psychological interventions. So if you have a couple come in and you kind of suspect that there's some areas where in their desire that could use some therapy, one of the first things you might want to try is a communication exercise. So what is it that what do you like? So you can fill in the blanks. It's very arousing to me when you blank. The idea of doing blank is a turn on for me. I like it when you touch blank. So this is done usually with the partners facing each other in a seated position, making eye contact, and the receiving partner even maybe repeating what he or she has heard, just to encourage validation and an understanding of what people want to try out. In addition to that, the touch surveyor exercise. How do you like to be touched? I think it's a little awkward sometimes to stop the organic nature to say, I don't like that, or can we try this differently? So this is a pretty helpful, maybe a little bit robotic way of basically finding out where your partner likes to be touched, how hard or how soft. So basically the steps are you pick a partner to lay on the bed without clothes, and the other partner, the surveyor, gently touches different parts of the receiving partner's body. Now the receiving spouse responds with a number representing the degree to which the sensation is enjoyable. For example, +1, -2, +3, I like that. So the survey explores for about 5 minutes, taking some mental notes, and then they switch sides. Another important thing to note is that a low desire can be the result of unresolved conflict. We just had a big fight, some hurtful things were said. Now the man wants to reconcile via sexual intimacy. This is how I can express my love for you, but the woman isn't ready yet. She wants a little space. She wants to reconcile before being intimate. And so emotionally focused couples therapy can help build healthy communication of needs and just healthy communication in general. It will disrupt negative interactional patterns. And also, as a therapist, you can reframe communications and negative patterns in terms of attachment and attachment needs, so that you're going to build intimacy in that communication, and that intimacy is going to transfer into the bedroom setting. So let's say you've tried these exercises and practices and there's still some barriers, there's still a couple walls up. Sometimes you need to go a little deeper in the individual and do some individual psychotherapy. And one of the interesting interventions that people are looking to now are Jungian archetypes in women. So people have internal inner casts of characters, and they emulate different characters in different contexts of their lives. And as a therapist, you can listen when your client is speaking with archetypal ears and try to understand what are the archetypes at play, what are the archetypes that's been disowned, and what are the gatekeeper archetypes. So if that doesn't make sense, let's review them. So you have the disowned archetypes, which are sex disinhibiting. And these are archetypes like the adoring girl, or the flirt, or the sweet tease, the girl next door, the playful monkey, or the hungry tigress. And women, as they go through society, they hear a lot of societal messages and they begin to disown these archetypes of themselves. And these are archetypes that's going to be helpful in accepting your own sexuality. And the way I look at it is these archetypes, or these parts of the self, I like to think of a mouse that got caught in a trap. And its leg is caught and now it can't escape. So what does it do? It has to sometimes gnaw off that leg just to survive and get away. But unlike the poor mouse and the leg of the mouse, these parts can be reattached to the self, and we'll talk about that later. And then we also have the gatekeeper archetypes. These are sex inhibiting archetypes. And these are things like the dutiful wife, devoted mother, oh, I feel guilty enjoying sex because I have a special needs child in the other room and they had some pain today, so why should I, it's selfish for me to enjoy pleasurable things. That's the self-sacrificing mother archetype. The responsible breadwinner. The puppy dog. I'm here to serve you. I don't care about my own needs. I'm going to have sex as a service for you. I'm dutiful in that way. The preacher, growing up in kind of like a more purity culture and a Christian atmosphere, it might be difficult for some women to reconcile some of those messages that weren't exactly sex positive. Even feminist archetypes can be sex disinhibiting. Now, all of these gatekeeper archetypes are good things. We need dutiful wives. We need devoted mothers. Our children wouldn't survive without self-sacrificing parenting. The problem is that we're committed to these and we've disowned all these. So you don't want to disown the gatekeeper archetypes. You want to honor them, but you want to reintegrate the disowned archetypes. And what that means is you want to set up a meeting between the flirt and the devoted mother. And how do you do that? Well, there are a variety of integrative techniques. One of which is Gina Ogden's ISIS wheel, ISIS standing for the integration of sexuality and spirituality, where she basically sets up a dialogue where stories can be told from the heart, spirit, mind, and body. It's a little new age. And then another one of my favorites is the Fritz Perls empty chair technique, straight out of the Gestalt therapy, where you can have an empty chair representing a part of yourself or a Jungian archetype, and you engage with it, you ask questions, and then when you're ready, you switch and go sit in that chair and become that part of yourself, and make sure that that part gets to say his or her piece. And in doing so, you can integrate them back into your core self. Another thing that's famous for this is Schwartz's internal family systems. Let's set up a meeting with the managers, the firefighters, the exiles. What parts of your sexuality have you put into exile? Let's talk to them directly. And all these different parts they operate within and they are reinforced by the family system. So a dutiful wife archetype is rewarded in the family system by the children, by the husband. So sometimes it's helpful to explore these integrative techniques with the couple and have them explore parts of themselves together. So that's all I had. Here are my references, and I also really look forward to hearing all your questions. Thank you very much.